Oi, welcome back to the show, you cheeky tart! Today we're looking at deceiving anime, so literally Japan's version of clickbait, but I like to personally call it top 10 is not what it looks like anime, because that's usually what the main character claims when they first get caught in precarious situations. That being said, the angle of the video is actually about a show that seems to give a pretty unique premise, but when you least expect it, they go in an entirely new direction. If you've been watching anime for a while, you probably have one title in mind, and yes, we will cover that son of a bitch today as well, along with 10 of the titles. Yeah, I said 10. Sit down. Get your bamboozled glasses on. You're about to get kerfuffle out of the bum-bum. Did we really said that? Is that staying in the script? Because I can cut it. Like, I'm gonna edit it after, and I can cut that part out. No? We keeping it? Okay. Number 10, Samurai Flamenco. Whatever your impression of Samurai Flamenco is, I can assure you, you're wrong. So let me set the cards straight for you. Obviously, in such a video thematic, there will be some spoiler revealed. I'll do my best to keep it at a surface level, the bare minimum I have to disclose, because, well, the best part of these is to experience the plot twist on your own. That being said, Samurai Flamenco is a story about a guy who's a model by day and a vigilante by night. Remember the movie Kick-Ass? It's kind of like that. Anyway, one day he meets a police officer that tells him to step down. The officer ends up joining him, and they create a group of Power Ranger-like to save the world. Of course, there's a lot in between, so if this seems like something you could enjoy, try it out. It's number 10, but it's still quite good. Reminds me a lot of Tiger and Bunny. Number 9, Arifureta. Wow, let me talk about this piece of shit for a hot minute. I lied. 50 seconds, in and out, you won't feel a thing, is what I said to my wife the night we made her firstborn. Ha! Why is Arifureta on this list? Isn't it the greatest isekai action adventure ever made? Said the viewer with early onset dementia. Well, that's what it pretends to be before it actually goes away with the kids and leave you a blank alimony check to fill out. Well, first of all, Arifureta is awful compared to the manga. That's the first big deception. You should get your money back on that one. But also, they turned it into a weird comedy it didn't have to be. Boom, 50 seconds. Your Honor, I rest my case. Number 8, Selector Infected We Cross. Ever since a certain anime we've yet to talk about, there's been a trend for dark magical girl, generally foreseen as cheerful characters put in contrast with a very dark and doomish setup. They have just been raining down. Yuki Yun as a hero, Magical Girl Raising Project, Daybreak Illusion, Happy Sugar Life, and so many more. But my personal favorite was Selector Infected We Cross. The show typically begins as a generic card game a la Yu-Gi-Oh! Main character receives a deck with the magical girl inside. She's forced to play against other players, and if you win the tournament, you get your wish granted. However, if you lose 3 times, well, there may be a fate quite worse than death in store for you. Maybe not. How about you figure it out by watching the show? Number 7, Goblin Slayer. No matter how you start Goblin Slayer, it always end up hitting you pretty hard. Goblins are usually pretty weak enemies, and when the show begins, you're introduced to a very novice party. Level 1 members going into a level 1 dungeon. Very simple. That's the mindset they want to set you up with when they realize they're in over their head and it's already too late. You're then introduced to the real protagonist that goes by Goblin Slayer. And soon you're confronted with a pretty heavy ethical dilemma, such as, is someone inherently evil and therefore is it okay to execute them based on that assumption despite them having not committed any wrongdoing yet? All in all, it's a very heavy first episode, so naturally you'd expect the rest of the show to have the same moral depth. No, episode 2 begins and you got Tego Betty Farm Girl. That's the wrong kind of bamboozling I wanted. Not gonna lie, but it still counts. Number 6, PunchLine. good, I needed an excuse to talk about this show and give it the proper recognition it deserves. This is one of the most bamboozling anime around in terms of deception. The show masquerades as a generic trashy, ecchi anime where the main character gets his power every time you see a girl's panties, but if you see 2 penny shots in a row, his power will stack overflow, programming humor, and destroy the earth. Stupid premise, right? If you grit your teeth and muster through the first half of the anime, you end up with such a magnificent outcome, it's well worth the experience. I mean, for God's sake, it's called PunchLine for a reason. There's definitely a twist to be expected down the road. My point is, yeah, you can skip it if you don't want to watch it, but if you do start the show, go through the whole thing before making your final opinion of it. You can't do the 3 episodes rule on this one, is what I'm saying. Number 5, Zombieland Saga. This show had me flip-flopping around so much, made me go from I hate this to I love this, back to God I fucking hate it, and back to that's actually pretty good, all within the span of the first 2 episodes. So imagine the ride all the way to 12, especially since there's a second season coming up in 2020. The story begins with a teenage girl. One morning, as she walks out the door, she gets hit by a car and dies. She's stitched back together, a la Frankenstein, and is introduced into a pop idol band of dead girls. Generally, I'm not much for idol girl anime. I appreciate the catchy tune as much as the next guy and the cute girl design, but the story often leaves me wanting for more. In this case, the pop idol band switch around through many musical genres, and it's definitely a fresh take on the idea. Comedy is a bit over the top, but it works for some people. Number 4, School Life. So again, these vocal descriptions that I add on each entry will contain some surface level spoilers. If you like your experience, white like snow, pause this video and skip ahead to the next entry. Otherwise, I'm gonna tell you the premise. You good? Okay, last chance. This anime begins like your generic slice of life show. Little girl playing around on the school ground. There's a dog and some other girls. It's super kawaii. That's until you get to the end of the episodes and you realize she's actually having a brain meltdown where she's picturing everything to be fine when in fact she's living in the zombie apocalypse barricade school and she just blocks the nastiness from entering her head. Basically, she's in denial while the rest of the girls are fighting to survive this apocalypse. It's a fascinating piece, especially when they go out of the school to get rations. Number 3, Bokurano. This is one of those anime you're so much better off knowing as little as possible before going in. Bokurano is a story about a class of students who goes to the beach. They find a hidden grotto with in it a scientist. He tells them about a game he's currently working on involving virtual reality, and he asks them if they'd like to try it out. Look, I've already told you too much. This is just one of those anime you have to take me up on blind faith on how actually good it is. Was that? Make some more funny jokes, funny internet man? Look, the joke I made on number 9 were good enough to carry the rest of this video and then some. I just finger blasted them all in one entry. So now, you're gonna shut your pretty trug mouth and take my shitty information, okay? Yeah, I said trug. Look it up. How about you invest in vocabulary? It's the next currency for the new decade.
ちょうどいいな。君たちゲームやらない?
Number 2, Princess Tutu. Now, if you're still here after I'm done antagonizing you, you should work on that masochistic aspect of your personality, but also Princess Tutu. 8.17 on my anime list. Usually, people are pretty stingy with their score there, so you have to ask yourself, would over 100,000 people really give an anime about ballet such an uplifting score if there wasn't anything more to it? Just like Bokurano, I don't really want to say too much about it, but I'll at least give you out the premise. It's the story of a duck turned into a girl, turned into a magical girl, turned into a ballerina. She must collect shards of her prince's heart, or spooky looming doom incoming. The anime comes off as a cutesy and comical one at first glance, but the plot takes hands quickly and shifts into something a lot more real. If you're willing to give this one a shot, you'll be in for a pretty emotional turmoil.
知りたいのかね本当に知りたい
And finally, at number 1, we have a dual entry, Madoka Magica and Oregairu. Of course, it's Madoka Magica, it's the staple of clickbait and deception, and it's amazing at it. It leads you on for 2 episodes about this cute-ass show. Girl be like, la-dee-da, we gonna be magical girl. Until that hoe gets some well-needed head action, she just get off so hard. That's some lollipop crashing high situation. But I realize at this point, kind of everyone has seen it. It's a bit boring to end up on a pretty obvious note like this one. So instead, if you've been sleeping on Oregairu, I'll recommend that one. An anime deceptively interesting that masquerades as a generic love harem rom-com, when in fact it's super heavy in psychology and richness of characters. The main character always advocates how shitty everyone is inside and how they just act as a front of their own personality, that he ends up barricading himself from any type of real connection. Very relatable. Okay, that's 10 entries. Class dismissed.
引ヶ谷くん、女の子と話したのは何年ぶり？
Woo! Can we make it 5 for 5 on the demonetization scale? I'm on a run, baby. Let's just ruin all my monetization, why don't you? It's not like I need money for living, you YouTube Sorry, I get angry when I get poor. Oh, he's a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers, he must make bank, right? Yeah, watch me feed a family of 4 with the monthly income challenge video coming real soon. Every jokes are half truth, so if you want to support my show, Patreon's a good way to keep me going. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to unceremoniously retire before 2020. No, I'm not too proud to beg. Anyway, if you can't or don't want to, I'll gladly settle for a like or a thumbs up. They're both the same thing. Subscribe, because I'm smart. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll catch you guys next time. That was my worst outro ever.
I've been through the hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.